This episode is sponsored by Ascend Media. If you're an entrepreneur, solopreneur, or business decision maker who wants more clients and customers to get to know, like, and trust you, call Ascend Media and let them show you how you can create a magnetic authority presence online everywhere and take your business and personal brand to the next level through podcasts, videos, social media strategies, and syndicating your authoritative message everywhere. Ascend, authority syndication. Position yourself to be recognized as the go-to leader of your industry. So here I'm on my bike, I'm going down a hill and I hop up onto the road and my front wheel locks and I literally go face first, smash my face right onto the blacktop of the road. And I saw my face and I put my hand up to my face and I saw this blood all over my hand. I looked back at my kids who were kind of in shock and I said, I want you to remember this day. This is the day that your father's life changes. Welcome to the Preeminence Podcast.
You cannot be a courageous leader if you're not vulnerable.
Your legacy is every life you've touched.
The only thing that changes our life long term is when we raise our standards.
Now is the time to take risk.
The way it's always been done isn't necessarily the way it should be done.
What is your dream? What do you think 2050, 2100 is going to look like?
The most incredible sort of mystery, I think, is now the question of what comes next.
Stay hungry, stay foolish.
Welcome to the Preeminence Podcast. I'm your host, Matthew J. Peters. Visit preeminence.tv to learn more about how to create a preeminent presence for your business, organization, or personal brand. Be sure to subscribe on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, SoundCloud, or just ask Alexa to play the Preeminence Podcast. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today I'm going to be talking about being in the hospital and leading from the hospital. Now, the reason I say this is because back in 2012, I went to the farmer's market with my family, and I said, hey, I'll meet you at Whole Foods. I had my bike. I was going to bicycle down to meet them at Whole Foods from the farmer's market. It was like 3 blocks. And so I'm biking on my bicycle, and I'm on the sidewalk. It's like, you know what? I'm going a little fast for the sidewalk, so I'm going to go onto the road. And so what I did was I was coming up to the end of the sidewalk, and I'd be crossing the street, and I hopped up my bike, lifting the handlebars, and I had like one of those fenders that would keep the rain off your, when you're riding in the rain. And the fender, when I lifted up like that, the fender became detached and it went into the spokes and it stopped the spokes instantly. So here I'm on my bike, I'm going down a hill and I hop to go up onto the road and my front wheel locks and I literally go face first, smash my face right onto the cement, right onto the blacktop of the road. I was not wearing a helmet and I literally smashed it just like this. So imagine I'm on my bicycle and my hands are still holding the handlebars and I go forward and my face, literally my whole body weight plus all that force on my face, on my neck, I did a summersault onto the road. And the bike was laying on the road. I was laying on the road. I realized like within 2, 3, 4 seconds, I realized I was on the road. I was like, oops, I should get up. Sorry, everybody. I picked my bike up, pull it across the road. I was like, oh, my bike is twisted. Oh, how am I going to get to Whole Foods now? Is another couple blocks. And I see all these cars. They're slowed down and stopped and people are staring at me. I'm like, I'm okay. And this guy pulls over and said, man, are you all right? I said, yeah, I'm fine. He said, no, you got to look at yourself. Your face is all beat up. And I feel my mouth and I realize, oh my gosh, I bit through my mouth. I bit through my cheek or my lip and smashed the side of my face, the left side of my face, and had major road rash on it. Didn't see stars or anything, didn't black out. But seconds later, my family pulls up and my kids are staring. They see all the cars stopped. And they say, you should get in the car. You need to go to the hospital. I was like, no, I'm okay. I'll just meet you at the store. I must have been in shock or something. And so they got me in the car and I flipped down the visor and I saw my face and I put my hand up to my face and I saw this blood all over my hand. And she was like, we need to go to the doctor, go to the hospital right away. And I didn't want to go to the hospital. I've never been in the hospital. I've been in an emergency room for asthma when I was a kid, but that was it. And so we're going to the hospital, and I had just been on camera. I had planned some videos to shoot, and I realized I can't be on camera tomorrow. When will I be able to be back on camera? My face is like, to me at that point, it was disfigured. And I looked back at my kids who were kind of in shock, and I said, I want you to remember this day. This is the day that your father's life changes.
Have you thought about having a podcast of your own, spreading your message in an authoritative way, connecting with people week after week, them getting to know, like, and trust you? I'm helping entrepreneurs just like you create a podcast of their own with the help of my team and I, so you can launch a successful podcast that puts you in the best light and gets your prospects reaching out to you right out of the gate. If you haven't started a podcast yet on your own, chances are you won't do it without the help of someone who knows what they're doing and has experience of producing over 200 podcasts and topics from business to spirituality to the future of leadership to teas of the world and everything in between. Just go to ascend.net/LYPN. Ascend, ASYND.net/LYPN for launch your podcast now. That's ascend.net/LYPN.
And the reason I said that is because I realized I couldn't do business the way I was doing it. Within 30 seconds, I realized if I would have died, I would have had probably half dozen, maybe 10 clients that would have had projects halfway done. I would have had no savings for my kids. I would have had a life insurance policy for, I think it was $250,000. So they would have had that. And that would have been it. They would have had to pay back the deposits or whatever my clients had paid, kind of settle the accounts there. I had no systems. I had nothing set up. It was me as a lone ranger running my business. And so in that time, I was able to, I was in the hospital. I actually got my phone in there. I shot live video from the hospital. They didn't want me to do that, but I did it in between when they left. I took out my phone and I wanted people to know that, hey, I'm in the hospital. This is what happened. And then my face started swelling up and my mouth started swelling up. And then it was hard for me to talk and stuff for several days afterwards. Then there's a picture of me and my daughter laying on the carpet. This is probably 3 months later. And I'm looking up at her and she's smiling. And this is, I was just felt like going back on camera again. But it was a great exercise. I recovered fully from it, but it was a great exercise realizing that I had no systems. I had no people. And I want you to think about in your life, what would happen if you were incapacitated for a day, a week, a month, a year? You were incapacitated. You literally can't use your hands. Maybe you don't even have access to the internet. How are you going to run your business? How are you going to grow your business if you are leading from the hospital? So this hospital bed exercise I want you to think about. And I'm saying this also because I realized I hadn't been living it. I've been doing a lot, way too many things on my own right now. The last several months, I've been doing a lot on my own. I've actually been helping my clients with their websites. I've been building web pages. I've been adding their content. All these things I should not be doing because if something were to happen to me, all that goes away. But when I have a system, when I bring a client in and I get them into my system and I delegate, huge word, delegate things out to people. I have a team. This is a system. This is sellable, and this is an asset. If you don't have a team, if you don't have systems, you have no assets. If you were to die or be incapacitated, everything goes away. So this is what I want you to think about. Number one, do you have systems for everything you do?
everything you do. If you're going to do it more than once, do you have a system? Systems are as easy as, you know what, I'm going to have an email sequence. When I bring a new client on, I'm going to type their name in, or they're going to have a name put in automatically, and they're going to get the email drip. It's going to get them into the Facebook group automatically, or I'm going to hand them off to somebody who's going to put them in the Facebook group. They're going to get into the membership site. They're going to fill out the form. All of that is automatic. If you don't have that, you're literally lost. You have nothing, and you're going to have to redo everything every time. When you have a notebook of like, okay, step 1, step 2, step 3, you got to get all of your processes out of you, and you got to get them into some kind of system. The first system I made was from someone who was I paid $25,000 to be part of a Facebook marketing group. How do you market on Facebook? And I hated Facebook. I hated Facebook marketing. I hated the putting the ads out there. But I learned one thing that paid for that $25,000 on one call from my mentor in passing. This was Adam Spiel. Adam's gone off to do amazing things. Everything is automated. Literally, he has teams of people. He buys companies now. He buys them and improves them and sells them. But when he was my mentor, Adam Spiel was my mentor, he said one thing in passing was, most of my businesses run on systems and require none of my time. And I was a coach doing one-on-ones and groups and stuff. And he kept on talking and talking. I'm like, at the end, any questions? Yeah. Adam, you said something about systems. What was that? It was most of my companies, plural companies, run on systems and require none of my time. And the thing he went on to say is, if there's something that is required to do, and I'm going to do that more than once, I create a system. From that system, I either I delegate that to a person, or I create a bot or some kind of sequence that runs on its own. I want you to think about that. How many places in your business right now are you running sequences? Do you have things that are automatically handed off to the right people? Guillermina, hola. Gabby, great to see you here. So I want you to think, Monique, good to see you here too. I want you to think about that. So if you are going to do anything in your business more than once, do you have it written down? If something were to happen to you, can people flip through a book or go to a website where they have access to as a manager or as an admin? They can go in and say, okay, I know Matthew has this client. We see where they're at right now, and I see the next steps. If you don't have that, and like what happened to me, in the hospital, emergency room, not sure what's going to happen next, what's going to happen with your clients, you need that insurance policy beyond just whatever your life insurance policy is. Okay? So that's your systems. Number 2 is the people. What do you have for a team? When you get a new client, the easiest thing for us to do is the simple thing is I'm just going to do the work myself. I don't have to find anybody. I can trust myself. I know I'm going to do the best job. No one else can do it as good as me, right? That's going to keep you as a solopreneur. That's going to keep you, your business is going to be governed by the amount of people that you can serve yourself. I agree with you, Guillermina. Better to do it right the first time and have it ready for later, but better to do it right and create a system out of it and make that system better, hand it off to somebody else and ask them, when you're going through this, show me where you can improve it. Show me how you can do it better than I am. Show me how this system works in the real world and where it needs to be improved. That's really where your business can grow and thrive and flourish. And having the right people. Some people are like, I'm afraid to hire the right person because it's going to cost me a lot of money. I don't have time to train this person. I don't know where to find them. I don't know how to teach them. And that right there is locking you down to not being able to serve at the capacity you were born to serve at. You're serving at the capacity of your level right now. You're getting paid to the level right now that you have deserved. You need to step up one more level in order to serve more people. So I say that because you need to start delegating a lot more than what you are right now. And you may be thinking, but I'm going to lose some money because I need to hire that person. The amount that it's going to cost you to hire somebody to do something as needed, not as a full-time person, not as a part-time person, but as needed. So you have a go-to person to do your YouTube thumbnails. You have a go-to person that's going to edit and sweeten all the audio in your podcast. You're going to have a go-to person that's going to do your graphics for Facebook. When you have those people and you know, I need to have this graphic done, it's going to cost me $10 a week. I have to have one graphic a week. It's going to cost me $40 a month. That's time that you didn't have to learn that software program. That's time that you didn't have to go in and find the clip art, find the stock footage. It's the time that you didn't have to go in and learn the software of how to edit your audios. All that stuff is costing you time. And when you think that your time is free, that is the most expensive time of your life. I want you to think when you have someone, how do I say this better? When someone hires you and they pay you $1,000 and it costs you 10 hours of your time, you're making $100 an hour if you have no materials, okay? But you have materials, so it's going to be a little different. But stay with me here. If you're making $100 an hour and you are locked into learning how to edit your own podcast audio and you're uploading and it's taking you 3 hours to do that, and you can get somebody to do that for you for $6 an hour, $10 an hour, you can see that it costs you $300 for you to do $100 an hour for yourself, or $30 to have somebody else do that. Once you start thinking this way, because if you're not willing to hire people, you're going to be stuck exactly where you are for the rest of your career. You need to be able to have systems and have people. When you have systems and people and something happens to you, or you decide to retire or decide to quit, you have a sellable asset. Your systems are your asset. Your people are your asset. And when you have something like that and you say, when I put $10 into this, I get $20 out. When I put this much into marketing, here's what happens on the back end. And people, once they buy product for $197, the next thing, 50% of them go to the $500 product. And out of those people who do the $500 product, another 50% of those people go into the $197 a month thing. When you have that set up, that is a sellable asset, because there's two things that are going to happen to your business. If you are an entrepreneur, number one, you're going to die and your business is going to dissolve. Or number two, you sell your business. That's the only two things that can happen to your business. You're either going to die and it dissolves, or you hand it to a relative or somebody who doesn't know what they're doing and they're stuck with your business. Or number two, you sell it. So be smart and think about, how am I going to make myself irrelevant and be able to sell this thing? Because so many people want to sell their business and they look at the cost and they look at, I'm not paying myself anything, or I'm paying myself out of the profits, and they're not running it like a real business. And so think about, how am I going to put my systems together? What's my magic? Put into a system, make myself irrelevant. So I have managers, I have people in charge that are going to run my business for me, and I get a percentage of what my business creates. And you can focus on your business and not running in your business like a hamster every day. I'm saying this because for the last several months, I've been doing way too much myself. There are things I need to hand off right now, but at the same time, I'm doing that too much because I'm making my system. Once you're running, I'm working one-to-one with my client right now. I am keeping in mind, I'm working with this client. What worked? What didn't work? What did I not need to do? What do I need to double down on? And what did they say that they wanted as feedback? When I sent the media to them, what was the feedback? I'm getting the same feedback from 3 people, from 5 people. I'm going to change the program. They actually want this other service. And I'm working on my business to make my product stronger. When I have that product stronger and I have people who love what we do, I have their testimonials. Those testimonials sell for me, and I ask people for references that love working with me. This is how your business grows exponentially. And you're not, I'm going to say this, you're not sabotaging your business. So many of us sabotage our own businesses because we are afraid of too much growth and we don't have enough time to do it. So we do things to keep ourselves busy. We do things to not go out and get more clients. Yeah, Guillermina, this is huge. It was a big awakening for me when I didn't have any systems. I was a great coach, getting paid pretty well, but I realized that was my that was the barrier of me being able to serve more people. So at one time in my company, I had 16 people working for me. Now you're thinking, 16 people, how do you pay them all? Here's how it works, all right? I'm going to tell you, this is how it works. This is how it works every time. Right now, I can turn my business on. I can turn it off, just like this. Number one, I did as much of the management as I could by myself. So I was the manager. All right. And I was creating the management systems. I hired my first as needed person to help me with YouTube. I said, I don't remember his name, Paul. Paul, here are all the steps. When I get a new client, here's step 1 through 100. And it was like 113, 116 steps. And going from here's the video that we're going to create to here it is online with their fresh new channel up, and they're getting SEO'd and all that stuff. 113 or 116 steps. I handed that off to him. So when I give you a video, I need you to start working through this. All right. I'm going to give you 40 videos like this, and here's what I need you to do. That was my first hire. Another hire was a graphics person. So I said to the graphics person, here's what I need you to do. Please learn from my mistakes. And I gave everything to this graphics person. 3 months later, we have all these clients, and he starts work for WWE World Wrestling Entertainment. It was his dream job. He says, gotta go. And within like a week and a half, I said, I need these project files. Help me. You can't just leave. So he gives me all the project files. Now what I did was I put all of his project files, and I said, here are 3 clients that he created the process for. Here are 3 that I approved. I like these images, and here's what I like about these images. Here is the template that he uses for the YouTube channel art, for the Facebook channel art. Here are the templates. Here is a video of me going through and showing you what I like about it, what I don't. And I put that into the process. The next person I hired as a graphic designer said, go open this file I'm giving you access to. You can look at the templates, watch the video. Here's 3 that I need. Here's the next client. Here's the notes for the client, what they need. That person, it took me maybe 2 iterations. I said, great, that's perfect. Thank you. Next client, next client. And I had that process for them in case someone flakes out on me, I can replace them easily. But when you put too much of yourself into your key person, you have that person that's been with you for 5 years and you just love them and you know they're always going to be with you. You know what? One day they could just leave, or one day they go into the hospital or something happens to their family and you lose them. You can't have someone in your business other than you be that central gear that when they are taken out, the business stops. Make everything replicable. Make sure that you can put that system in and plug anybody in there with just a little bit of education, put them in there and they can take that job. That's how I had 16 people. I got paid from my client. My client's payment, their first payment or their first two payments paid for the project. Everything, I had 0 profit until people made their first 2 payments. That all went to production. So once I had that, I paid my people. I paid all the people that was, 16 people. The best hire I ever made was my manager, my project manager. When I had all my systems and I had a project manager, my project manager was running all the projects and had an assistant project manager who was very part-time. That was when I could step away from my business and work on my business. I could go to mastermind meetings. I could work with my coach. I worked with 3 coaches at the same time. Kevin, Jeff, and who was I said just before? Adam Spiel. Those 3 coaches helped me expand my business by expanding my thinking. I was working on the outside of my business while I had the gears running internally. Nobody is indispensable, but if necessary. Well, the reason I say this is because if you have someone who is the central gear in your business and they leave, guess who the CEO of your company is? It was that person that just left because now they were in control of your business. Without them, your business is stopped. If you're waiting on your website guy and you tell me, not you, or someone tells you, yeah, I've got my web guy, he's working on my website, it should be done in a few minutes. You know what? The time you're waiting on him, he's running your company. If there's any process in your company, you're waiting for your coach, you're waiting for someone you hired out to do for your business to grow, they are running your company. You need to be the person running your company. Last thing I'll say here is when you hire people and they complete the job, pay them immediately. Ask them to, thank you so much. This is great. The client signed off on it. Send me your invoice. Send me your invoice. Send me your invoice. I'll ask them 3-4 times. They finally send me the invoice. I pay them instantly. The reason you do that is because I had a client one time when I was doing graphic design about 12 years ago. It was 2 months and I was begging the guy because I needed it for rent. I was begging him, please, I need to get this. I finally went to his office, found out he was in Europe. I never wanted to do that to a person. So as soon as they do the work, I want them to get paid. And when you do that and they have 5 clients and you say, hey, John, I got this graphic design thing. Here's all the notes. All the stuff is in the folder. It's all organized. You know, they're going to work on your stuff because they want to get paid like tomorrow. They know you're going to pay them tomorrow when they finish the work, or 2 days from now, or what have you. They're going to put you above everybody else. They're going to put you ahead of everybody else that is going to be paying them like 60 days net, 90 days net, whatever it is. All right. So be the one that pays them first, begs them for them to send you an invoice so you can pay them fast. They're going to love you for that. So those are things I learned. If you can be in a hospital bed, make a phone call and say, execute on this. There's a great movie. It was a Mission Impossible called Ghost Protocol. And the thing with Ghost Protocol is if something happens, if the stuff hits the fan, follow the Ghost Protocol, meaning just start the process. If I don't check in by a certain time, start the process. So if you have a Ghost Protocol in your business, is basically, if I don't show up for work, you guys all know what to do. So with mine, I had my project manager and we had 3-hour meetings. It was like 3 hours a week in these meetings. I just was dreading these meetings. So I finally talked to my coach, Jeff, who was helping with my productivity and scheduling and everything. He said, you shouldn't have anything more than a 20-minute meeting. I said, but we got all these things. He said, no. You're trying to run their life. Let them make the decisions and let them make the mistakes and let them fall on their face. They're going to learn from it. But if they're always waiting for you to make all the decisions for them, they can't manage. They can't lead. You need to grow leaders in your company because guess what? They're going to have better ideas than you. And so I did that. I basically said to them the next meeting, I said, hey, I'm going to be here. I know you guys got all these different projects you're working on. I want you to go make all the decisions you possibly can. When you get stuck and you're not sure what to do, let me know when you're about 20 minutes, just about to wrap up. And then I'll come in at the last 15 to 20 minutes. You're going to show me the different projects you're working on, the decisions you made, and where you're stuck. And I'll come in and help you there. This is huge. Some of these things, if you are a solopreneur, you need to get out of the solopreneur today. Go on to Fiverr and hire somebody to do that thing that you were about to do today or tomorrow. Go on to Upwork and hire that person that you were going to do something today or tomorrow. Go hire that person. You say, yeah, but it's going to take me some time. It's going to take a day for them to get back to me. And I got to go through, 3 or 4 or 5 different people, see which one's the right one. I got to now take money that I wasn't planning on spending because I was going to do it myself. Yeah. All of that is the cost of doing business. And if you want to stay working 50, 60, 70 hours a week, doing the same thing, trying to get one client at a time, trying to serve one client at a time, or serving 5 clients at a time, how about if you serve 50 clients at a time? You gotta delegate that stuff. One of the things, and I'm going to close with this. A lot of people know Richard Branson he's got the Virgin Empire. He is a owner or part owner of over 300 companies. That was probably like 3 years ago. So it's probably more than that now. 300 companies, owner, part owner, investor, angel investor in all these companies. And he said, I learned very early on, and this is probably when he was starting with his magazine in college, the power of delegation. When you get something from a client, you say, that's great. I'm going to hand this to this person. That's great. I'm going to hand this to this person. You're like, what else? What else you guys got? What else we got? Okay, great. John, you'd be good for that. Can you do that? Okay, I need that by Friday. Can I have that by Friday? What time on Friday is it going to be in my email box? Great. Now he's bought in. I'm going to get that in my email box. He bought in. We have expectations. We know who's doing what. And you have that going. All of a sudden you have all this flow and this freedom to do the things to grow your business instead of spinning plates. Like, what am I supposed to do today? I've got the list of 20 things I got to do. I'm late. I'm behind on this thing. I've got this anxiety. You can drop all of that. So take something from this and do something with it today. I hope you've learned something from it. And the only way you're going to learn it is if you apply it. You can't learn it unless you apply it. apply something today. Hire one person to do one thing that you were doing that you know you shouldn't be doing anymore. And send me a message. Send me a private message. And if you are looking to create more media and you don't know what to do, you don't know what your message is going to be, you don't know how to shoot the video, you don't know how to create your podcast, you don't know how to syndicate your podcast, reach out to me in instant message. I have a team of people that can help you put that together so you come out as your best self. It's geared for you to make profit from it, to get new clients, and for more people to know the magic that you do. Thank you so much for being on today. I look forward to seeing you next week on the next podcast. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the Preeminence Podcast. Subscribe to hear powerful interviews and insights each week automatically downloaded the moment they go live. Share this episode with your team, your friends, and post it on social media. Let us know your comments and suggestions for the show at m@ascend.net. That's the letter M @ASYND.net.